The last swim, the lake stretched before them like a mirror of obsidian, reflecting the dying embers of August's final sunset. Sarah adjusted her backpack straps and followed the narrow trail that wound through towering pines, their shadows growing longer with each passing moment. Behind her, the distant hum of civilization had faded hours ago, replaced by the whisper of wind through branches and the occasional crack of settling wood. She had planned this solo camping trip as a farewell to summer one last adventure, before returning to the suffocating routine of city life. The remote lake, discovered through an obscure hiking forum, promised pristine waters and complete solitude. The forum post had been brief, almost cryptic, _hidden gem, perfect for those seeking true isolation. Summer's end is the best time. As darkness crept across the water's surface, Sarah pitched her tent on a small clearing overlooking the lake. The silence felt absolute, pressing against her eardrums like cotton. Even the usual symphony of crickets and night birds seemed muted, as if nature itself held its breath. The first night passed without incident, though her sleep came in fragments. Each time she drifted off, something would pull her back to consciousness's splash in the distance. The rustle of something large moving through the underbrush, or simply the weight of being watched. When morning arrived, she found strange impressions in the soft earth around her tent. Circular depressions too large and too deep to be from any animal she could identify. The second day brought an oppressive heat that seemed to emanate from the lake itself. The water, which had appeared so inviting the evening before, now held an oily quality that made her skin crawl. Yet the temperature climbed relentlessly, and by afternoon the need for relief overcame her growing unease. Sarah waded into the lake slowly, each step sending ripples across the unnaturally still surface. The water felt wrong against her skin, too warm, too thick, with an almost viscous quality that clung to her legs. As she moved deeper, something brushed against her ankle. She jerked away, but the sensation followed her, as if invisible tendrils were exploring her submerged limbs. Panic seized her throat as she tried to retreat to shore, but her movements felt sluggish, as though the water itself resisted her escape. The lake seemed to pulse around her, and in that moment of terror, she understood why the forum post had specified summer's end. The lake was feeding, growing stronger as the season died, drawing sustenance from the boundary between warmth and cold, life and death. She thrashed toward the shore with desperate strokes, feeling something vast and patient stirring in the depths below. The water grew thicker with each stroke, and her lungs burned as she fought against the lake's embrace. When her feet finally touched the muddy bottom, she stumbled forward, gasping and retching lake water that tasted of copper and decay. That night, Sarah huddled in her tent as the temperature plummeted with unnatural speed. Frost began forming on the nylon walls, despite the calendars still showing August. Through the thin fabric, she could hear the lake calling, not with sound, but with a pull that resonated in her bones. The water level was rising, she realized with growing horror. Dark tendrils crept up the shore, reaching for her campsite with deliberate intent. She broke camp in the pre-dawn darkness, stuffing gear into her pack with trembling hands. The trail back to civilization seemed different now. Paths branching where none had existed before. Familiar landmarks twisted into alien configurations. The forest itself conspired to keep her roots rising to catch her feet, branches reaching to snag her clothes and hair. As the sun climbed higher, the wrongness intensified. Summer was ending not gradually, but all at once, as if something was devouring the season itself. Leaves withered and fell in moments. Flowers blackened on their stems, and the very air grew thin and brittle. Sarah ran, then, abandoning caution as the forest collapsed into premature autumn around her. Behind her, she could feel the lake's hunger growing, spreading outward like a stain. She understood now that she had been invited here, drawn by that cryptic forum post to serve as the final offering of summer's end. The parking lot appeared suddenly through the trees, her car sitting exactly where she had left it 3 days ago. As she fumbled with her keys, Sarah glanced back once at the trail. The forest looked normal again, green and alive, as if nothing had happened. But in her rearview mirror, as she drove away, she could see the darkness spreading behind her summer, dying all at once, consumed by something ancient and patient that dwelt in the depths of hidden lakes, waiting for the season's end to feed. The radio crackled to life as she reached the main road. Unseasonably cold front moving through the region. Temperatures dropping 40 degrees overnight. Summer officially over. Sarah drove faster, but couldn't shake the feeling that she was carrying something with her, a piece of that hungry darkness, waiting for next summer's end.